Hey guys, what is up? Bigger Reviews here. This is the third time I filmed this video, so if I feel like I'm rushing, I'm very sorry. I just got back from seeing It Chapter 2, the sequel to It, which came out in 2017, and here's my review on it. These are my thoughts. Before I start though, this might look a little different. Basically, I decided to switch things up a bit and stand up and have this space here that I can put some, photos and stuff while you still see me talking. Let me know if you guys like this layout or not. I personally like it, so I might be doing it for a bit, unless everyone hates it. Basically, It Chapter 2 was great, hands down. It lived up to It 1, which was big shoes to fill because It 1 was amazing. It has that same character-driven plot, which we fell in love with It 1. The actors who play the adult versions of the kids do a great job. Like, you actually think that they're 37 or 27 years older than them. There's some CGI in this scene. There's a lot more than It 1, and I'm going to try to talk about non-spoilers right now, but if I ever go into spoilers, I'll let y'all know, because it's kind of hard not to talk about spoilers. There's some CGI scenes in this film that may anger some people because they like practical like It 1, but I didn't really mind that much. It was still sketchy, and the CGI looked great on the most part. There's some things they do with certain characters when it comes to CGI that's kind of iffy, but I'll get to that in the spoiler talk. Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise is still amazingly scary. He's a great actor. You see more of Pennywise in this film, which I'm glad about. And honestly, he only had like 4 to 5 minutes of screen time in It 1, if I remember. It was very short. Him actually being the clown. And I really like that we got a little bit more of him, and it sounds fitting since It Chapter 2. They follow I haven't read the book, but from what I know about the book, they follow it pretty well. I've seen the miniseries, and it's way better than the miniseries, trust me. The miniseries gets a lot of shit for what it is, but we can all agree that Tim Curry as Pennywise was like the best part of that miniseries, and the kid parts were pretty good because the adult parts were kind of shit. But it's safe to say the adult parts in this movie are great, and the new kid scenes we see are great too. There's now a lot of people say that since it's a 2-hour and 30-minute movie, it flows weird. I've never got that feeling at all. It never felt like I was watching a 3-hour movie, not like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood where I felt like I was watching a 3-hour movie. I think it flowed well. Whenever there was downtimes, I actually liked the downtimes because it was all the adults, catching up. And Bill Hader as Richie steals the show. You've heard this probably plenty of times now. He's funny as hell. He fits Richie so well. And some things they do with that character are very interesting too, which I like. The battle scenes were great. The suspense scenes were great. Just getting a little refresh on It 1, but in a new kind of way, which was kind of cool. And yeah, I really can't talk about this movie without spoilers. So if you haven't seen this film, stop what you're doing, stop watching the video, go see it, then come back and watch. Or if you just don't care about spoilers, keep going on. Basically, the movie starts off with an infamous, iconic scene from the book, which gets a lot of shit on. Basically, it's about this gay couple at a festival in present day, and they end up getting beat up by bullies, and the one guy gets thrown over the edge of a bridge, and he's, floating up, and Pennywise basically eats him. And it's getting a lot of shit from the LGBTQ community because they say it glorifies, what beating on homosexual people or something like that. In my opinion, I think it's stupid. I might get some flack from people. I really don't care. That's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. The reason why I think this is because Pennywise kills people throughout this whole movie. He kills children. He kills 3 children, bites their head off in this movie. But when he kills a gay guy, they think it's like a hate crime towards gay people. It's not that at all. Stephen King even said he wrote the scene because he wanted to show how evil humans can be. And I think that captures that perfectly. And Pennywise eating him isn't because Pennywise is saying, you're gay, I'm going to eat you. Pennywise doesn't work like that. He's going to eat whoever he can damn eat, He eats children, like I say. He bites people's head off and stuff. Then Mike sees the crime scene and he's like, okay, I got to call the losers back because he didn't leave Derry. He stayed, so he remembers. If you leave Derry, Pennywise's influence makes you forget. Pennywise basically helped them. It's alluded to that he helped them all become successful, so they don't have to ever want to come back to Derry. Beverly is a fashion designer, and Ben is an architect and all that stuff. Bill's a writer, and so they're really successful people, so they never come back. But basically, he calls them, and they all have they all come back finally. They all get nervous, but they don't know why they get nervous, and they all catch up at this Chinese restaurant, and they find out, and you see before this, Stan actually ends up killing himself, and this is from the book in the miniseries, so everyone who kind of knows any basic knowledge about that new Stan wasn't making it out. They're sitting there, and then they finally start remembering Pennywise, but they don't remember everything like Georgie and all that stuff. So basically, Mike tells them about the ritual of Chid, which is basically this thing. Now in the book, they learn about it. Bill learns about it from this turtle named Maturin, who was sick one day and shitted out the universe, and that captures how much crack Stephen King was on when he wrote these books back then. So luckily they took that out, and he learned it from the Native Americans. Basically, if you don't know the history of it in this movie, not the book, it basically crash landed on a meteor, like on the Earth on a meteor, like millions of years ago. And these Native Americans were basically fighting it, and they used this ritual to beat it. What you find out at the end of the movie, it actually didn't kind of work for them. Like it kind of sustained it or something like that. I don't know. It was kind of weird, but I didn't really mind it. But Mike basically tells them they all have to go and get a piece of their past. So the one like Ben gets his his yearbook page that Beverly signed, and Bill gets the boat from Georgie. But this is what's weird. This is the only thing. This is like one of the only gripes I have right now. Basically, Bill goes to where Georgie died, and Pennywise basically ends up like sums up, basically gives him the boat, which basically helps them defeat it. Which I didn't really understand why he gave him the boat, but whatever, And Beverly gets the the note, so they all come back. I'm kind of summarizing it up because I want to leave some things out for y'all, but I'm summarizing the big parts. And basically, there's this. What I really like they added that's not in the book is this side plot with this kid and Bill. Basically, we see this kid like 2 or 3 times. Bill basically sees this kid and at the drain, and he's like, "Don't go near this drain. Like you hear voices." And he's like, "I don't hear voices, but I do hear voices in my bathtub. I hear like kids, and I hear this like." And Bill's like, "Clown." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "You fucking listen to me. Don't go near this clown." Blah blah. He's like warning him. He's like, "All right, I'm going to the festival. Chill out." And basically, they get back to the library, and then a skateboard comes down the stairs, and Bill's like, and the skateboard says, "You came and saved this new kid," or something like that. So Bill goes to the festival, goes in this like room of mirrors. Basically, Pennywise ends up eating this kid in front of Bill because Bill can't do it. And Bill's like, "Take me, don't take him, take me." Pennywise is like slamming his head against this damn window, and he fucking ends up eating this kid in front of Bill. And Bill's like, "You know what? Fuck this. I'm going to save Georgie, or avenge Georgie and kill Pennywise and all that." There's this one girl that we see. I'm naming like the kid deaths. There's this one girl we see at this baseball game, and basically like this, whatever those fucking light up bugs are called, I forgot. Fireflies or whatever, lures her underneath the stands, and Pennywise is basically like, "Oh, do you not have any friends?" And she's like, "No, I have this birthmark on my cheek, and no one wants to be friends with me because of it." He's like, "No one wants to be friends with me because of my face either." He's like, "I can take that birthmark away, come a little bit closer." And basically they end up counting down to 3. He stops at 2, and she's like, "You forgot," and she gets eaten. That's basically what happens. And I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? But Bill Skarsgård was fucking insane. There's a scene in this movie where Bill Skarsgård like is seen basically as a human. He's putting on paint, and then like he like it's fucking insane, and he's such a great actor. So basically, they get all these artifacts, and they go down to the Barrens, underneath the house on Nebold Street, and they start the ritual. Well, they basically go, like, it's all flooded now, but they find a hole, and they go down deeper, which is his actual lair. Basically, this is where the meteor hit. They do this ritual, and, like, these 3 lights come down, which are the dead lights, and Mike's like, "Don't look at them." And the dead lights get trapped in this thing, and they're like, "Did we get it?" But they didn't get it. So then we see its final form, which is basically a spider with Pennywise's head on it. And it sounds stupid, but the miniseries in the book get a lot of shit for having Pennywise's final form being a big-ass spider. So I really like what they did with making half its body Pennywise the clown and half the legs, and I really like that. But basically, they're all running around. They all get split up, basically. Like, it's Eddie and Richie, and then it's Bev and Ben, and then it's Bill by himself, and Mike's, whatever. I'm fucking off the whole time. Bill basically ends up swimming. He almost drowns, and he ends up in his basement, and he basically has to, see his interaction with Georgie back in the day. And he has to end up like drowning Georgie, which is like letting Georgie go of his life, basically like a metaphor. And then he has to kill his younger self because his younger self is like, "We're the reason why Georgie's dead." And Bill's like, no, we're not. Like, just because we didn't want to go outside one day, that's not the reason. And then Richie and Eddie come across these 3 doors, the same ones from the first movie. And this is from funny. It's like a little levity, like there's a little fucking dog, and they're like, "Oh, little dog," and it's just scary. And basically, Beverly gets stuck in the bathroom stall with all this blood, and we get to hear a little "Here's Johnny" reference, which was kind of funny. And then we see Ben, who's scared of suffocating. He suffocates in dirt, but then they save each other, and she finds out that like he was the one that wrote the poem, and she finally finds out. They basically get back. Eddie was kind of scared before. He has a thing on his cheek from basically Henry Bowers, which Henry Bowers was like, a lot of people said like he was written out the story very quick. I didn't really mind it because like I wanted to focus on the adults. Basically, Henry Bowers, you find out he came out of the sewer at the end of it one, and he comes back to his house where the police are taking his dad's body after he killed him, and they basically arrest him, and he put in like this like insane asylum, and he sees a balloon through the window, and he starts going ape shit, and basically his older friend who died comes out as a zombie, and he gives him a knife, and he basically stabs Eddie in the cheek. Eddie takes the knife out of his cheek and stabs it in his chest, and he says like, "Dude, lose the fucking mullet. It was 30 years old," or something like that. It was funny as hell. And basically, short story short, Henry Bowers starts attacking Mike, but Richie axes him in the head. And the big secret about Richie is Richie's actually gay, um, which we didn't really. You find out he actually had a crush on Eddie, and that leads into the ending where Eddie actually spears Pennywise and thinks he got him, but he gets stabbed to the chest and dies. And it's all really sad. So they all go run up to the clown, and he's like, "I'm the eater of worlds," and they basically defeat him with words, which I honestly like. It's kind of different than a big bad fight. They're basically like, "You're just a fucking clown. You're an imposter. You're a painting. You're a bully. Blah blah blah." And he basically shrinks down to this baby, and Mike takes his heart out, and they all squish it, and that's how they defeat it, which I really like. I really like that, and it's kind of different from the book and the miniseries, even though they take the heart out still. I really like how we see more of the kids in a flashback, like in between it one, there's some scenes we didn't get to see, like how they all had an extra encounter with Pennywise, which I kind of like. But yeah, overall, I'm giving this movie a 9.5 out of 10. I think it was great. I'm actually going to give it a 9. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 because there's some things that could fix, like the CGI on some of their faces, but that's not a reason why I'm taking it down to a 9. There's like some story stuff that I have questions about. If I find that out, it might boost my rating, but I really enjoyed this movie. It 1 and It 2 are really special in this day and age as being a good, really good, unique movie and a really good sequel. And if you haven't seen them or you don't like horror movies, I really suggest seeing them. I hate horror movies, but I did see these. There's only like 4 jump scares per movie. It's really funny. It's more suspenseful, but it's really funny. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'm going to have some unique videos coming out soon, a video with my mom and a certain video for 100 subs. I'm 3 subs away, and I'm very thankful for that. Thank you guys, everyone, for subscribing. And yeah, I'll have some more movie reviews in October, because we get Zombieland 2 and we get Joker, which I'm so hyped. Joker's like the most hyped I am for this year. Let me know what you guys think down below. Did you like the film? Did you like It 1 better? Did you like my review? Do you think it was shit? Let me know down below. Thank you guys always for liking and subscribing and watching. I'll be with y'all very soon. Have a good one.